Hi, welcome to another segment of Chop It Up with the Chairman, Chairman Oz Nesbitt here. My guest on this segment is none other than Rockdale's own Queen Nandi. Queen Nandi, welcome to Chop It Up with the Chairman. We've been trying, your schedule has been crazy busy. You've been all over the place. I'm following you on social media, Facebook, Instagram. Talk to us. Tell the world, who is Queen Nandi? Talk to me.
Well, listen, first of all, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. It's a blessing when your own hometown can embrace you and to show up and put Rockdale on my back in the way that I can, in the way that I am about to do and take it. I really appreciate you for this opportunity. So I'm Queen Nandi. I am an artist born in Atlanta, raised in Rockdale. And I have roots in writing, first and foremost, is what I love doing. Serving purpose above all of that, but writing, poetry, spoken word is transferred into music, rapping, writing, singing, songwriting. But whatever way that I'm delivering the message, purpose is the overall goal. And so that's why we're here today, to talk a little bit about that.
So I've heard you use this word purpose a few times as you was describing what you are as an artist. You talked about spoken word. You talked about your first love of poetry, but you kept referencing the word purpose. Tell us about purpose.
Man, purpose is a beautiful thing, and when you find it and when you understand it, it just allows you to ebb and flow in a whole entirely different way. And oftentimes for people who say that they may not know their purpose or know what their purpose is, may not even realize that they're operating in it. It can be simply having a conversation with somebody and shining your light and just being who you are in that moment, no matter the avenue, no matter if it's writing, singing, rapping, dancing, playing a sport, in tech, whatever it is, you're serving purpose if you're just being in yourself, being in your confidence and shining your light.
So tell me, how long are we supposed to wait for other people to fix our problems, fix our issues, help our community, when we can do it ourselves? All the marching and everything, the protests, the getting angry, all the passion, that's cool and everything, but what are we actually doing? How are we actually putting feet on the pavement and making this shit happen? So that's what we went out and did.
Do you think that you have completely found your purpose, or do you think you're finding it and discovering it every day?
I feel like that's a never-ending quest, for sure. I feel like it can definitely change and ebb and flow, but I know for me personally, I do believe that delivering a word, shining a light with words and with music is definitely a part of my purpose. It's all expansive, and I think as a human being that you're constantly growing, ebbing, flowing, living life, you're gonna step into new levels of your purpose, for sure.
You talked about letting your light shine. Every time I hear you speak and talk about being in that moment, living in your purpose, you let your light shine. So many people have different talents and gifts, and they've been given different purposes in life. But what do you say to folks who are watching this broadcast and them understanding what it really means to live a life of purpose, but more importantly, let their light shine? Talk about letting your light shine, because that means different things to different people.
For sure. That's loaded, because I think letting your light shine is going into anything that you do and not dimming your light. And what I mean by that, for me personally, because I can speak to like what I've experienced, is not second guessing yourself when you're operating in whatever you're doing, whatever you've been called to do in the moment that you're doing it, and just being confident in it, because you have no idea when you let your light shine and you're not thinking about what's going on around you, how other people will interpret it, that you're releasing other people to shine their lights. And I believe that's what it's about more than anything, is shining your light so other people can realize, oh, I have a light within me too. So that's shining your light.
So I'm hearing you talk about purpose and allowing your light to shine. And when you allow your light to shine, you illuminate other people. You allow other people to be discovered. You allow other people to provoke thought within themselves about, okay, she's doing it. She's in my same demographic. I can do it too. But having that, watch this, because I'm shifting it a little bit here, and I'm pressing you this during this segment. How do you take that leap of faith? Because a lot of people are sitting here and they're listening to this interview and they're saying, yeah, I hear what you're saying about purpose. Yeah, I hear you saying about letting your light shine. But Something had to motivate you and inspire you, Queen, in order to say, you know what, I'm going to do this. What was that thing that did it for you? Or maybe, what was that person that gave you that push or that nudge or that pull or that support? Because sometimes it's not always the energy and the effort of our own, but sometimes the people and the places that we are surrounded with.
So
talk about that thing that did it for Queen Nandi.
That's so true. Yes, it's definitely been a village of people that have definitely encouraged that light and allowed me to see the purpose for sure, whether it be my parents, my brothers, my sisters, close friends, educators. Like I said, I went to school in Rockdale County, so it's been some key educators. Shout out to Miss Palmer, Miss Mathis, Miss Snell, Miss Bloodworth, who used to be the principal at Salem, who just were those lights along the path, who saw something in me as a young student and encourage that thing, whether it be like an essay writing contest and me having the essay incomplete and them telling me to stand up and read the essay anyway, and I'm reading, like, now go finish that. We're gonna take you to competition, like seeing that light.
So I have to call those people queen makers.
For sure.
They made Queen Nandi. Absolutely. So let's shift again here. So this is great information. I can feel the energy coming from you. So I want to slow it down just a tad. I want to really hear from you about going back to that word purpose and your message, because you have a message. You do poetry, you do wonderful spoken word, and you center your poetry and your spoken word around a few main themes. Talk about that theme, those themes that there's a message that you're trying to get out to your demographic and even people beyond your demographic. What's your theme, Queen?
My theme, it can definitely change from time to time. That's one thing, I never want to be put in a box with anything that I ever do, but I would say that a sentiment that remains through them all is love people, and that you can do anything that you want to do, and there's nothing stopping you from it, though there may seem to be obstacles, and there are real things in life that can stall you, can be hurdles that you're to overcome, but that spirit of tenacity to overcome things and keep it moving. And even when you're in low places and dark places and I don't understand places, still keeping it going. And I pray that it's my prayer, my hope, my purpose, that at the end of every work that I do and complete, that's deposited in someone.
There's no shame in your game, none at all, because I heard you a few times just in that message right there, how you reflected on your spiritual life and your relationship with that spiritual being. Can you speak to that a moment? Because a lot of times, not just young people, but sometimes people in general, adult folks, are a little bit hesitant. They're a little afraid to talk about their relationship with their God. Talk about your relationship, because you just alluded to your spiritual connection, because that's a part of what drives you. Tell us about it.
For sure. Yeah, I'm not ashamed at all. I love God. Listen, I definitely, and whoever you may refer to, your creator, that power you draw on, that source you pull from, that's mine. And it's been key in getting me to each level that I've ascended to. And I'm definitely not where I want to be and definitely not where I was at, but that is the thing that keeps me going. That's where I pull a lot of inspiration from, a lot of light from, a lot of everything from, because that is, without that, I can do nothing. I'm nothing.
Well, Queen, we appreciate you being open and honest and candid about your spiritual connections and your relationship, your backbone, your rock, as you referred to. Let's talk about, let's go a little deeper here, because truly every day is not Sunday.
Absolutely.
Every day, life is not a Milky Way.
Absolutely.
And you've had those low moments, those challenges, those dark moments. How did you navigate through those moments, and what do you really think it was that pulled you out of those moments where that you were able to get beyond that time? Talk about that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, every day is not pie in the sky, rainbows, and just all good and Sunday, as you refer to it. Getting out of those moments, first dealing with the moment, being in the moment, and realizing that there are things that are going to happen. There are low moments that are going to happen. I mean, I've not had the most glitz and glamour type life, and I've not had the most depressing type life, but I've definitely gone through and experienced and seen things, whether it be my mom fighting for her life in cancer, losing a lot of family members that were very close to me, whether it be experiencing just really dark moments that, you know, how can you, we spoke about the spiritual aspect, and
right.
then you realize that, you know, you have low moments. How do you still find that light and believe in that light and draw on that light when you're going through such dark places and dark spaces? And I feel like it's realizing that things like that are going to happen. Dark things are going to happen, but realizing that it all is for a purpose and it all works together, and knowing that that moment is coming to pass. That moment is not there forever. It's temporary. You can, I'm sure for anybody listening to this, watching this right now, that where you are right now is not where you were 5 years ago, where you were 10 years ago, where you were, heck, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. And so I think that's just a testament to the fact that things are going to change, things are going to ebb, things are going to flow, things are going to get better. You're going to have highs, you're going to have lows, but through it all, if you can remain in that sentiment that, okay, no matter what, I'm going to keep going. No matter how high it gets, don't get too high, don't get too low. Just keep going, and you'll get to where you're trying to go.
Oh, you provoked so many things came through my mind when you were talking about that. The first thing I want to ask you, do you have a daily affirmation? Is there one thing that you say to yourself every day when you get up and wake up and you say, you know what, how do you proclaim, declare and decree what the day is going to be for Queen Nandi? Do you have something, a daily affirmation that you say to yourself about your outlook and your forecast on each individual day? Do you have a daily affirmation, Queen Nandi?
I wouldn't say I have a daily affirmation. No, that would be pretty cool to say that if I did. I know some people do, and that's a beautiful thing. More than anything, I do try to wake up with gratefulness every morning. Like, no matter, before my feet hit that floor, like, just waking up, say thank you for waking me up this morning, and whatever we supposed to do today, let's do it. And just that gratefulness is something I try to carry with me throughout the day, if you would consider that a daily affirmation.
I think that's a daily affirmation, and here's what I heard in all of that. I heard your humble spirit come rushing right through. If a humble spirit can ever do that, it rushed right through. And that takes me a perfect segue to what I'm about to talk about, because one of the things I heard in your explanation of how you operate from day to day and how you came out of deal with some of those dark spaces and places and moments that we are just going to have is a balance of ego. Because let's be real about it. Mm-hmm. When you're a spotlight individual like you are an artist, you are a public figure, and you have to be able to balance your ego so that you can have some level of stability. And I heard the humbleness in your voice when you said you get up every day and you're grateful. And whether you tagged it or titled it as your daily affirmation, really that is your gratefulness of the fact that you're alive, you have another opportunity. But talk about that word ego, because I think there's a positive and a negative to ego. Yeah. And a lot of times we only hear about the negative part of ego. Talk about why it's important to have some ego. Some
ego, some bravado, some, I got this about you. I feel like there are definitely the pros and cons. When I think of ego, I don't know, I automatically go to Kanye West. Listen, Kanye has a love and hate relationship with a lot of us.
And with himself, too.
But listen, shout out to Kanye. Yes. Oh my God, it's a genius. However, I believe there definitely needs to be a balance. That ego can have you not getting to where you need to go because you're in your own way. Growing up, whether it came from teachers or my parents, like I've heard the sentiment, like, get out of your own way. And that ego can be that thing of like, no, I got this. Like, no, I can do this. When you actually maybe need help in that moment, you actually maybe need to sit down, humble yourself, and figure out how you can ebb, flow, do what you need to do. But I think the flip side to that ego is, maybe we shouldn't call it ego, is the confidence to where you need to have that sort of no, I do got this. Like I'm ready for this. I can handle this. And a certain balance in everything, I feel like is the key point that we're all trying to hit, that target we're trying to hit for sure.
You have a natural humble spirit, and you talked about maintaining balance, and you also talked about the positive side of you got to have some kind of ego to even step out and do what we do on a day-to-day basis. I mean, look at you making things happen all over Rockdale, the region, all over the country. You're all over social media, and be able to have some level of balance with the ego that you have is having confidence, a high self-esteem, but also being humble enough to know that life is real and people are real and things are real.
People are real, for
absolutely,
sure.
And that creates that balance. Is that right?
Yes.
So this is beautiful conversation. We got to go to break. We're going to go to break, but before we go to break, I'm going to tell you a couple of things I want you to talk about when we come back. Number one, the people around you, your circle of influence and your support base. You talked about that village earlier. It takes a village to make things and people happen. You got to be surrounded by the right people. Folks, this is another segment of Chop It Up with the Chairman, and our guest on this segment is none other than Rockdale County's very own Queen Nandi. We're coming right back after the break. You're watching Channel 23.
Hello, my name is Nisa Brinson, and I am the Area 31 Director for Toastmasters, and I just love Toastmasters. Toastmasters is all about building leaders and also just building your public speaking skills.
Good evening. My name is Orlando Robinson. I'm the president of Toastmasters here in Rockdale, Rockdale chapter, and I just want to encourage everybody to just find out about Toastmasters. The role of Toastmasters basically is to assist individuals with their speaking, public speaking, as well as leadership, which is the reason why I joined.
If you're thinking or trying to understand what a Toastmasters meeting looks like, it will start with a warm welcome. Here at Rockdale, they provide you with a meal, which is awesome. And then a lot of times there are prepared speeches where Toastmasters come up and deliver a speech. And then there's also a section of the meeting called Table Topics, where guests and other members can come and answer impromptu speeches. There's also a section of the meeting called the Better Listening Session, and that's where you get your evaluations, which is a really important part of the meeting. And you learn how you spoke in your speech and how you can improve for the next time.
My name is Brigelle Stovall, and I'm a member of Toastmasters. I'm very new to this. I'm loving it, I'm enjoying it, and I refer other people in Rockdale to join that works with me all the time. So
be sure to sign up as a Toastmaster on Toastmasters.org. There you will receive a membership number, or you can sign in using your email and your password. And there's just so many resources that you can access on that website, from your pathway to other resources that are going to help you speak. It's just a wonderful way to start your Toastmasters path out on the right foot. So join Toastmasters.org.
I'm Officer Wood with Rockdale County Animal Services. Today I want to discuss the leash law. The leash law is to make sure your dog is under control on the property. If you walk outside with your animal or your dog, you have to make sure it's on leash unless you can control your dog with basic commands or obedience. On property, you can be outside with your animal. You cannot leave it unattended. As long as your dog is obedient and can listen to basic commands, you don't have to have it on a leash. If the dog is unruly or you can't control it, then it has to be on leash on property. If we come up to a house and the dog is unattended, we could impound the dog. That's why we try to stress about you cannot leave the dog unattended. A lot of people have the invisible fences with the collars, to where they shock, but you're supposed to have a sign up that says invincible fence in use. Off property, your animal has to be under control and on a leash. If you're going for a walk, if you're going to the store, if you're going to the vet, to a dog park, anything outside of your home, it has to be under control and on a leash.
Folks, welcome back to Chop It Up with the Chairman Oz Nesbitt. Again, our guest, none other than Rockdale's own Queen Nandi, born and raised in Rockdale, went to Rockdale County Schools. She gave a shout out to several of her teachers who's been what I call queen makers. They made queen. Yes. A lot of excitement. Good things, good people coming out of Rockdale County. Let's go back into this. You've given us a lot of good information in this interview with Chop It Up with the Chairman, but I want you to tell us a little bit about your circle of influence. Those people who've got your back, those people who matter the most to you, the most influential people in your life, those people that give you that push, even when you've been in some of those not so good moments or dark moments or confused moments and you've closed your eyes, you've thought about that one, maybe two people that say, okay, if they've done and been through what they've been through, I can keep going. Who is your support base? Who is your circle of influence, Queen? Tell us who your village is.
Yeah, shout out to the village, the whole circle, the whole squad, the whole team. I've been fortunate enough to have some amazing individuals in my life that have come together to create this collective that has raised me, this village. I will start off with saying your circle, your friend group, who's immediately influencing you, who you're around, who you just hang out with, kick it with, and they're not judging you for or wanting anything from you. Like they just a circle, you know, your people who you kick it with. I would have to say my friends, my best friend Tamoy, my Caras, my Owens, my Winifred is what I call them, my brothers, my sisters, but they keep me going. They keep me encouraged when it's like moments to where I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm dealing with this. And then they'll just like tell me, just shake it off, like you good, or give that word of advice or whatever it is that needs to be given at the time and then at the moment. So I believe having a good friend group, a good circle is key to keeping your head in the game and just staying strong and staying solid. So shout out to all of them. My brothers, my sisters, they're also immediately in that same circle. I also have a really, really great aunt that stays in Alabama, and she is like the rock of the family, the spiritual rock of the family, the one that can cook. She's got a huge garden in her backyard. Just love so effortlessly and just so genuinely that's one of the mentors that I look to.
It was
sure.
Aunt
Teresa.
Auntie Teresa.
Auntie Teresa.
Auntie Teresa. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. He says you lit up when you start talking about her, so she really matters a lot to you.
She definitely
absolutely
does.
Tell us a little bit more about Auntie Teresa.
Auntie Teresa. She sends me my words in the morning. She'll call me and get on me when she sees that I'm slipping. Like I recently changed my phone number actually, and I didn't give her the phone number, and she found me some kind of way and found my other number and called me and said, I see you got another number. I see my messages not going through. I don't know what you got going on, but you need to call me. And so getting back connected with her has definitely been a blessing.
So Queen Nandi, is it safe to say that you talked about your circle of influence, your friends and your family, your brothers and sisters, but then you lit up when you started talking about Aunt Teresa. Is she one of your mentors? Is it okay to call her a mentor? Or what category do you put her in?
A mentor? I could say that definitely she's a mentor. Gives good word, gives good advice, loves me well. So when I need, she's definitely deposited things in me that stick with me to this day. And this is probably like a little side tangent, but as I referred to earlier in the interview, I've had a lot of people that have been close to me that have passed away that I would have considered mentors. But however, I believe that what they deposited in me and poured into me has allowed me to be a mentor almost for others at a younger age, there are certain things that happen that are the darknesses that you don't realize are light for someone else. So I would definitely consider her one of those mentors, one of those ones that's close to me. And my pops, for sure, he's definitely poured into me a large majority of my life. So can't believe we haven't touched on him yet, but for sure he's from encouraging me that no matter what I do, no matter what I go out and do, if I fail, if I succeed, he's still gonna love me and still be there for me. I feel like that's been a key thing that's whether I'm in a studio and I'm like struggling with maybe how I'm going to say a certain thing, I say try it like this maybe. Whether it's grades or in school, whether it's life things with friends or with family or with guys, whatever it is, business-wise, like he's definitely poured into me in all those aspects. So a mentor is definitely Pops for sure.
Well, that's just wonderful to hear, and to hear that your primary mentor is certainly your father. That means a lot. That makes a lot of sense in so many different ways. How important you think having a mentor is, and how do you encourage people to make sure they have a mentor in their life, whether it's their father or somebody, but how important you think having a mentor is in your life with all of what you're doing?
Having a mentor is very, very, very key. Having that person whose heart you can trust, that when they're telling you something and they're checking you and correcting you, they're not coming at you in a malicious type of way, that they're actually wanting to see you grow and do better, and they see something in you to get you where you need to go, and being able to receive that, I think is key. I know it's key in getting you to the levels that you need to get to. So find you a good mentor, whether it's an aunt, whether it's an uncle, whether it's a friend. A mentor isn't always somebody that is 10, 15, 20 years older than you. It can just be somebody that's well versed in something or at a level that you're trying to get to, and you admire that, and you will allow them to pour into you, and they will do that, and they won't lead you in the wrong direction. So finding that, and once you have that, holding on to that, appreciating it for sure.
Queen Nandi, I always say no one gets anything done by themselves, and you just spoke volumes to that in the very essence of how true that is, that you have to have a support base. You have to have that village. You have to have that circle of influence around you that are giving you positive information, and that are keeping it real with you too, that'll check you when you seem to be going in there. You got to have an Aunt Teresa. You got to have a dad or pops who will say, hold it, wait a minute, time out, we'll just back up. And understanding that there's no malice, as you stated. They're coming straight from the heart. They have your best interest at heart. Having mentors, having a strong support base is very, very important. Let's shift again here. So many great things many great nuggets that you're giving the audience during this segment of Chopping Up with the Chairman. I want to talk about what's happening with Queen Nandi right now. That you're in the moment. You've got things that's going on. I'm following you and keeping up with all of the things that's going on. Talk about some of those things that's going on. How can people come out and support you? How can they follow you more? Tell them how they can get involved. Talk to this audience and tell us what's happening right now. Give us a scoop.
Okay, I got a little something going on, so you guys can tap in on my Instagram, on all social media platforms, but my Instagram primarily at The Real Queen Nandi, where you can see all the music that we've got going, the videos that we got going, the movements that we have going, because we particularly have a movement right now called Field Tripping, and that's the movement that you can get involved in. Right now, whoever's listening to this, whoever's watching this, no matter how young you are, no matter how old you are, wherever you are at in life, you can show up to Field Tripping.
What is Field Tripping? I like that title, and I think I've got an ideal of it, but tell us about Field Tripping. Give us that.
Got you. Okay, so Field Tripping is, it's my baby. It's a movement that I started with my management and tech team over at Atlanta Music Network, where we get on a tour bus and we fill it with creatives and influencers and just everyday people who want to ride with us, and we go out into the metro Atlanta and Atlanta areas and go out and support Black-owned and minority-owned businesses, supporting them with our dollars, supporting them with our love, supporting them just with conversation, just, actually putting the feet on the pavement and going out and being that movement, not waiting on somebody to do it.
So I got this vision. You're on this bus, this big tour bus, and you've got all these creative minds and influencers on this bus, along with Queen Nandi, and you guys are doing a road trip, field tripping. Y'all are going from one stop to, you get off the bus, you go in, you spend some money, you bring some energy, you talk to people. What else you're doing while you're out there on the ground? You're supporting these small minority and Black-owned businesses, but tell me the other essence of field tripping. When you're there, tell me the difference that you're making.
The difference that we're making, I believe, I don't even realize until hindsight, and I hear the stories from the business owners, and they're like, just from that interaction, you guys coming, I'm actually starting my own movement. Shout out to Miss Ebony's beauty supply store out here in Conyers, to where she's now even doing her own kind of formation of, I wouldn't say necessarily field tripping, but going out and supporting locally owned businesses as well. I had a friend of mine who came out to one of the places that we visited, and they end up networking and meeting the business owner there and end up doing some work for a really prominent artist just off of that interaction alone. And I've had the artists that we have put on the first run with us, they're actually local artists here. Shout out to PMO, incredibly dope individuals. And just to see them, those young Black men out there, and a lot of times you see the negative on the news and highlighted in the media, and because we documented it all, which you can find on Instagram and you can find on YouTube, of seeing that image of young people, young Black men, young, just creative, just out there really doing it and really being about it, you know, showing love, like not anything negative, you know. It was really beautiful to see people show up and get excited about it.
Queen Nandi, I remember when you started this whole field tripping movement, because that's what I call it. I call it a movement, but I can remember the very moment when you took to the road with this whole concept. That was when this whole pop-up shop spirit started happening all at the same time. You were doing field tripping, and a lot of local entrepreneurs were creating these pop-up expo shops they have on the Saturdays and Sundays, and people are bringing their wares, their goods, their crafts, their talents, and I saw it all flowing. And I think there is a wave of field tripping and supporting each other and people doing their thing, so to speak, in terms of the pop-up entrepreneur shops and the things that are having to bring people into exposure about what America has to offer. And I got to tell you, a lot of this was birthed as we went through and learned so many things during the height of COVID.
Yes.
People realized what they really, that's when it was birthed. They realized what they really could do. Yeah. What do you have going on right now that people can come out to and be involved in? Give us that thing, that time and place and location.
Okay, so you heard me just talk about field tripping. So we did our first installment last year. We'll be doing another installment coming up. We do not have a definite date yet. However, as I said, you can go to my Instagram, you can click the link in my bio, and you can stay updated with all the dates to come and what businesses we will be visiting. And also, if you would like to make a donation to the Field Tripping Fund, whether it's $1, whether it's $5, whatever is on your heart to give, that money, all of that money will go to the businesses that we go out and visit. And also, a thing about field tripping, please understand that you don't have to wait for us to set the event up for you to come out and do this thing, because this movement is about going out and supporting your community with your dollars, with your love, with your support. You can get in your own car and go and support these businesses on any given Sunday, Monday through Friday, whenever they're open. So that's how you can get involved, honestly, on what we're doing, because that's what we're about, is loving the people. And you can do that yourself every day.
Just get out there and do it.
Yeah.
So slow it down a minute. I want you to give us that Instagram. Give us your Instagram credentials again. Somebody want to write them down. Someone want to go to Instagram right now while they're listening to you and start following you at this moment. Say it slow enough for that person can put it in as you're talking.
Got you. My Instagram is The Real Queen Nandi, TheRealQueenNandi, and you can tap in with us on YouTube at Atlanta Music Network. And stay updated. You can also go to my website, The Queen Nandi, TheQueenNandi, and there you can find everything we have coming up as we're posting it, as we have it, as we're updating it.
Well, I know this Chop It Up segment is going to be on YouTube, yes. And you can find it there, and we'll probably have it on some of our Instagram with Rockdale County and our Facebook page. I'm an old schooler, you know, I'm all over Facebook. I'm on Instagram and some of the other platforms as well, but I probably spend more time, as us old schoolers do, on Facebook. What's your page on Facebook for folks in my demographic who says that make it easy for me? How can I find you on Facebook?
We do have a Facebook as well for Atlanta Music Network and Queen Nandi. So definitely go to the Facebook, Atlanta Music Network. Okay. There you can find everything.
Okay, that's one of your Facebook pages. Mm-hmm. The other one is?
India Nandi, or INDIANANDI. or you can follow my artist page, Queen Nandi, Queennandi.
When are you going to be doing some more spoken word? You rock with that spoken word. I want to hear it. I want to be able to come out. Spoken word is a vibe all in itself. And I enjoy that type of vibe. Where are you going to be in the center stage, in the spotlight, in the round, Queen Nandi, taking to the mic? Take us to the next location of an opportunity of hearing your spoken word.
Listen, the top of the year, as I said, go to that website because we have some really, really exciting things to come, some show dates that you probably wouldn't expect or believe. So go to that website and you can stay updated on when we will be doing spoken word performances and some other pretty.
You're going to make us wait. The anticipation is growing. I'm going to go to those websites. I'm going to those platforms and check you out. Queen Nandi, this has been an outstanding opportunity for you to be a part of Chop It Up with the Chairman Oz Nesbitt here in Rockdale County, your own backyard. Rockdale County is fine. We're proud of you. We're going to continue to support you and promote you as we move forward because we want to make sure that when we have jewels and gems like Queen Nandi here in Rockdale County, that we can get the story out, the message about having purpose and being able to let your light shine and all of those things. You're getting ready to wrap it up here with me. I got a couple of lasting questions, but I want you to take a moment. What do you want to say to the audience that's listening and watching right now as we bring this segment to a close? What do you want to say to them?
What do I want to say? I want to say, brush your teeth, don't do drugs. No, I'm just kidding. I want to specifically speak to Rockdale right now. We'll talk about the world later. I feel like we did a lot of that, but it's so much talent in Rockdale County. It is so many lights in Rockdale County, and I feel like for a long time we've been that county that's been slept on, pushed to the side, and people have not had that pride to say, I was raised in Rockdale, like I'm from Rockdale, I went to Rockdale County schools. For whatever reason, I'm not sure. Shout out to Amaretta, but not Atlanta. I mean, I get it, but we are a metro Atlanta county. We are. That's not make believe. That's not made up. And we have culture out here. We have, like I said, amazing talents out here. We have so much to offer, and I just feel like more people should represent that and be proud of that and step out and do whatever it is that is their thing to do, and not worry about how they'll be perceived by whoever else is watching, because they are watching. And so represent it proudly and do your thing, and everything else will take care of itself. So believe in yourself. Don't be ashamed. Be proud. Be proud of what you got going on, where you come from, and shine your light. Serve your purpose as we bring it back full circle. Beautiful, beautiful.
Last questions I have for you. First of all, I want to say thank you again. This has been phenomenal having you, a talent like yourself, a part of. I want to know a couple of things. You are an artist, and you poetry and spoken word and all the creativity that you bring, but there's gotta be somebody in the world of artists that you love and look up to. Who is your number one artist, whether it's spoken word, poetry, or music? Who is that person that is your idol out there?
Number one.
Oh,
I got some top. Oh, that's so hard. But I would have to say my number one is definitely Andre 3000.
Andre 3000.
That's my number one. But can I sneak another one in there? I gotta say J. Cole, and I gotta say Maya Angelou.
Okay. All right. Give all three of them to us again. I want everybody to hear this clearly.
Gotcha. Andre 3000, the GOAT, J. Cole, and Maya Angelou.
Wow.
Strong influences.
Wow. You have a favorite color?
Neon green. But I look good, I feel like, in maroon. But neon green is my favorite.
Maroon, that's old school. You've been around some old school people that say the word maroon.
Right.
Yeah, that's taking it back. That was before the word is called burgundy. Absolutely. Maroon. I like that. Right. I like that spirit in you. And what's your favorite food?
Macaroni and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
I know childish, but I love
True
me some mac and cheese.
True Southern girl. You made some other people light up other than me when you said mac and cheese. Yes. Absolutely. Listen, Queen Nandi, it's been a pleasure to have you on with Chop It Up with the Chairman here. Keep doing great things. Keep representing Rockdale County. Keep giving Rockdale County a shout out. Absolutely. We're so proud of you. We're going to be following you. We're going to be at the next opportunity when you do spoken word and poetry. You got to let us know, and we're going to follow your site and keep up with you so that we can make sure we're there on time and we're there to support you. We appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of Chop It Up with the Chairman. Folks, you've been watching another segment of Chop It Up with the Chairman, Chairman Oz Nesbitt, Rockdale County's finest and very own Queen Nandi. You're watching Channel 23.